Hello, hello. We're just hanging out for a minute or so before we get started. Welcome. I can see up there now. Okay, cool. Thanks for tuning in. You can let us know in the chat if this was a difficult process for you. Uh-oh. Wonder who this is. This is going to be Melissa coming on with us. Melissa, I can take you out. Don't worry.
Okay, good. I'm fake fancy. Okay.
There we go. Now you're backstage, Melissa, and that way in the chat, you'll see over in the chat window, we have a live stream chat, but then we also have a studio chat. So you can chat with us either way, and you can monitor and things like that. But we're going to go ahead and get started. I'll do a little pause, and I think most people will be checking out the YouTube, but I don't know if we're seeing people on YouTube, hopefully. But if you're not able to chat on YouTube, I apologize, but we're going to get started. Yes, you are all on mute, Lynette, but you can chat with text, and we'll be seeing that as we go. All right. Okay, welcome to our podcast recording tonight. And this is a series, we call it Juice Plus Journeys. And my name is Doug Farrar, and I am super excited to have Kerry Lynn Netko with me tonight. And it's going to be a great little interview that we're going to do. Before we get started with that, though, I want to make sure that you guys understand that we are with the Juice Plus Company. We are in this business, and our vision here is to share little insights into our business and what our journey has been like with the business, and maybe what it could be like for you to maybe take a look at doing this as well. So, but every great business has to have a great product or service, right? So our products are a range of whole food nutrition concentrates from real plants, 30 different fruits and vegetables and berries in convenient forms, like capsules and gummies and a drink mix that make it really easy to get plant-based nutrition and make it simple for busy families. So our flagship products are the Juice Plus Essentials capsules, which come in fruit, vegetable, and berry blends. They're backed by over 40 clinical studies showing benefits for everything from immune function to heart health. And whoever invited you onto this, or however you're seeing this, maybe put it in the chat. We'll get back to you, and we can even send you those articles so you can review it for yourself. But another thing we have is something called Complete, which is a shake mix with plant-based protein, fiber, and superfoods. It's what I've been using for breakfast for, I don't know, probably over 20 years. Some people use it as a post-workout recovery or a nutritious snack on the go. Those come in Dutch chocolate and French vanilla, and they're really, really, really good. There's one more thing that I don't want to forget to mention. That is our Luminate, which is like a brain product that has nootropics in it, and ashwagandha and all these other great things that are great for the brain and memory. And it kind of gives you like a healthy energy boost as well. So with that said, before we get going on interviewing you, Kerry, I wonder, what is your favorite Juice Plus product?
Well, absolutely. The essentials, that is a no-brainer, because that is not just determining my health now, but into my future. Although I'm really loving the Luminate as my workout companion. It helps me power through. So that's been amazing.
Oh, that's cool. So you take it like pretty close to the workout, like 30 minutes before?
I fill a huge jug and I sip on it during my workout.
Oh, that's cool. I've been having it for breakfast with the superfood powders, and then I'll mix Illuminate in there. I call it a Super Lumi, and that even can replace your coffee if you don't want to be on so much coffee and things like that. Kerry Lynn, let me tell you. Let me ask you, tell us a little bit about you. I didn't really do a bio introduction for you, but where are you located? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am in the Raleigh, North Carolina area, originally from New Jersey, and I have an amazing husband. His name is Adam, and our son is also Adam. We have a German Shepherd, and just love living life to the fullest.
That's great. So how did you first get introduced to Juice Plus?
That's a funny story. There was somebody who I did not know. We connected over Facebook, and she 3 years later got in touch with me and said, let's get together. Well, I had just gone through a surgery. I had had an ectopic pregnancy, and she brought me a homemade meal to my front porch. And that was the first time that we met in person. And that is the heart of this entire community.
Cool. And your background is in what again?
Nursing.
Nursing. Wow. That's cool. So as a nurse, when you came across Juice Plus, I from my experience, nurses, doctors, healthcare professionals can be pretty discerning, or maybe, that's a nice way to put it. They can be pretty tough to share products of any kind of nature with. So what made you excited about Juice Plus?
Well, I guess you could say closed-minded is a good word.
Okay, maybe so.
And I was all like, that's great for you, but I didn't understand. No one in the medical community understands the power of fruits and vegetables. Unless they have experience to something like this where they are educated, but that is not in traditional educating. So I appreciated her story and her family's experience and thought, oh, that's so great for you. And then it was a few months later where she continued just loving on me, and there was a family health crisis, and that was my wake up call. And I thought, I can't overhaul everything at once, but I know we're not getting our 7 to 13 fist-sized servings of fruits and vegetables for myself, my husband, or our son. And it was a no-brainer just to add more good without having to change anything else.
That's good stuff. I wish all the nurses and healthcare professionals I met were as open as that. Let's move into business topics, because that's what I really want to get to in this interview. And you do this business now. You're not nursing any longer?
Correct.
Okay. And so now you're doing this as your main job. What does it look like for you? Like mixing this in with being a mom and a wife and just living your life, like having a business like Juice Plus, like what does it even look like?
Well, it is the best. I will say that, because I get to choose where my time and energy goes, which is so meaningful to me. I always had the desire to be present, and I could not do that. There were some days where in my nursing job, I would leave before my son woke up, and I would be home after he went to bed and would work 3 12s in a row and just wouldn't see him. And so I feel like, that's not how life is meant to be. And I had a problem with that. And when I learned what was possible through Juice Plus, it was like, wow, that is what I want. It felt like hope at the end of a very dark tunnel. And what attracted me was seeing what was possible, the lifestyle that we could have, where it met all of the needs that I have in terms of values. It's honorable work. And so what my day looks like, I am able to go on a family walk with our dog. I'm able to, get my work done in an intentional hour a day if I wanted that. Oftentimes I put in more, but I love the simplicity of it. That's really what attracted me. And just connecting with people that I love and care about, it's given me such an amazing opportunity to really build relationships.
You packed a lot into that answer. One of the things that, I relate to that so much. Like, I had a great job before I did this full time. I was a college administrator at a worship college, training the next generation of worship leaders and Christian artists. And it was so much fun, recording studios and making records and all that. But the bottom line was, I left the house at 7:30 or 8 in the morning, and I didn't come home till, certain times of the year, maybe I'm making a record or something, and it might not be till 9 o'clock at night. So it's like, there's nothing like time freedom, and I like the way you said, like, some days you can work 1 hour, but there might be other days where maybe you're going to work 12 hours, it might be rare, but you have like control. And that's kind of, for me, that's a really good feeling, you know?
Absolutely. And like the 1 hour that I'm talking about is that non-negotiable, just to maintain that consistency, at least, touching your business every day. But
Yeah.
certainly I want to grow bigger than I currently am. And so putting in more time, it is work. And I appreciate that. It's work that makes a difference in people's lives. And that's why I went into nursing, was to make a difference. And now I can.
That's really cool what you said there, though, that you want to grow your business bigger than it is now. And that's something that's really, I think is really cool. One of the reasons I love the Juice Plus business model, the franchise, if you will, it only costs $52 a year to have a Juice Plus business. And there's no quotas or territories, anything like that. So like nobody's calling you up on the phone and saying, hey, Kerry Lynn, we need more sales. We need more sales. That's not happening at all. But how does this feel different than like just like being an RN versus having your own business and kind of getting to decide if you want to grow or how fast to grow and all that?
I would say soul sucking versus life giving, to be blunt. And I, like in my job, I had to get a doctor's note to be able to use the bathroom when I was pregnant. That's not a great work environment. Didn't have the work-life balance. Here, it's a culture of celebration, appreciation. You're seen, you're valued. It is amazing and
Wow.
so supportive. Like you said, no one's pressuring you, but they're all there to step in and help the second you say, I want to do this.
Yeah. Cool. Let's talk a little bit about teaching and learning and like family time and things like that. When you're doing your business and your son is seeing all this, how does that play in for you as a mom?
Well, I think that we're modeling in anything we do. And so he's so excited. Like, I often do launch parties for helping new team members get their business off, and he'll get all the products together for me and help get me set up. And like, he's my little cheerleader. But it's also helped to expand what's possible in his mind, which that is priceless. I think so often what society teaches us or, trains us is that you do this, you do this, you do this, right? And then people are miserable. And so he has seen what we've been able to do as a family, the travel. So at the age of 9, he visited all 50 states. Our dog went to 49 of them. And, I retired from my nursing career at 37 to retire into Juice Plus. And that is what he thinks is possible now. He has cracked me up with some of the things he says, Doug. And it's just, I'm so grateful that he has the incredible people in this community in his life, and he gets to have a present mom.
Yeah, that's something we've done some of that stuff too, where when you're doing events or maybe you have a booth at a festival or something, or maybe sometimes when we were running boot camps, the kids are working the t-shirt table or talking to people or hanging out. It's almost like every day can be like bring your kid to work day or something. So you really get to involve them.
Well, it's funny. Yesterday we went to the gym and there were some people there that had tables set up, and, he was hearing the conversations I was having, and there was this one person with juice, and he's like, tell them about Juice Plus, tell them. And I was like, I already did. And she's been eating it for 10 years. She loves it, so, but it's so awesome to see the encouragement and how he wants to be involved.
Yeah, for sure. It's amazing because I'm being a nurse is probably similar to being in the education field in that like I was so like almost brainwashed into the system, like you said, not like a conspiracy or something, but we are trained in school to like follow the rules and sit in your seat like a good boy and do all this stuff. And then if you're a really good kid, you're going to go to college and then you get that job. And it used to be like, work at that job for 30 years and get your retirement. And then you get to enjoy yourself. And I'm surprised it took me 10 till 47 or so to retire from the full-time life. So you're 10 years ahead. Good for you. But for me, I got tired of, my wife Sharon started doing this business when we had our second child. And so for like 20 years, and it's nice that you can grow this business slow or fast. You can work as much or as little as you want. Nobody puts any pressure on you or anything. But I finally got tired of coming home and she's like still in her pajamas. And by that time, her paycheck's higher than mine. And it's like, I said, okay, enough is enough, and I was helping out and doing a little bit of Juice Plus on the side, but I started getting real serious after that and wanting to grow my part of the business too. So that's what we've done. And now we get to work as a couple, and it's just been amazing. And honestly, it's changed the relationship with me and my daughter, my youngest, compared to say my oldest, where I couldn't be as present in their life. So it's just huge, huge. I was wondering if let's talk about social media a little bit. So a lot of people that will see this maybe already do the Juice Plus business, but other people kind of wonder, like, as they do business, social media is such a big part of things now. And if you guys get a chance to check her out on social media, I follow her on Facebook, and Kerry Lynn's just very like authentic and transparent, and like really shows like a window into, as far as I know, into her life and her family. But it looks like they have a lot of fun, and they do a lot of cool stuff. But I was wondering how you balance like doing social media and keeping it authentic while still being like professional and mindful. Like, how does it really work into your business?
So I am authentic to the core, who I am here, who I am if you're in my living room, who I am on social media, like wherever you see me, I am who I am. And that's something that at first I was hesitant to do the business, because I thought it meant that if you are, like you're having to sell someone something, and that didn't feel authentic to me. And so I had to switch my mindset around that. But I just use it to share my life. I love being able to create memories and document them. So it's part of who I am, in terms of you get what you see.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you're posting, are you thinking, and this is more of a question for like people that would see this, that want to use social media better for their own business, may or may not be Juice Plus, but how strategic are you, like when you're doing your posting and such? Are you thinking about like like trying to get a certain message across, or is it really just like, this is what I did today? Or like, how do you approach it? Do you plan any of it out, or is it just you take it one day at a time?
None of it is planned out. It's really what's on my heart. And sure, I am intentional with, what do I want someone to take away from this? Like, but in general, it's, let's see, I would say just what I've loved, what excites me. And I have found that people are looking for what we have, and I want people to see what's possible, because so many people are just living a life settling and wishing for more, but they don't know what's possible. And so if living my life and experiencing what I feel is meaningful is helping people, then absolutely.
I like what you said there, that people they kind of need what we have. They want what we have. What would you just say? What do we have in this business? Like, what do you have now in this business that you didn't have when you were a nurse?
Freedom. That sums it up. And I call it the yes life. For so long we were having to say no, 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 and just had this really limited scarcity mindset. And that's not fun. We don't want to model that for our son. And so financially, we were able to start saying yes to more. It started with just putting something in the grocery cart and not giving the side eye, like, oh, do we really need that? There was breathing room financially. So saying yes. And also slowing down. I feel like that has been a beautiful gift with doing Juice Plus, because I think when you hear the term like side hustle, that makes me want to, because hustle culture is so draining. And I feel like what this opportunity does is it gives you the ability to have quality and to say yes to what matters, versus like a 9 to 5. That's hustle. You're constantly hustling. You have zero time, like you
Yeah.
said earlier, and trying to squeeze family time in maybe 2 hours a day, and you feel like you have a never ending to-do list. Like, this creates margin in so many ways.
Yeah, and it can be even worse. I mean, 9 to 5 is one thing, but then so we're talking about like being like an entrepreneur, like starting a business. Not all businesses are created equal. For instance, if you and I, open up a pizza place or something, now we're going to have to invest probably at least $500,000. We have the overhead of the rent every month. We have to have employees, which means we have to have workman comp insurance. We have to invest so much money. And then there's the time.
Yes.
I mean, if you have a restaurant or something, you're going to be in there. I mean, pizza is probably the worst example, but 8 a.m. till like when it closes at midnight, or 11, or not, even if it closes at 9, then you have to clean. And so, I mean, it doesn't always create time freedom to have your own business. My father was a business owner. He did like commercial restaurant equipment repair and such. And it was nice because he had employees and he got to a point where it could kind of run itself. But I also look at people that do their own thing, like the guy that came and fixed our air conditioner last week. He has his own business, but if he's not fixing an air conditioner, he's not making money. So that's what I really love about this business model is, some people will kind of poo-poo the idea of like network marketing, but the beauty of it is that you can build a team of people where you get to teach them how to make some extra money, and then they get the blessing of that, and they get time freedom, but then you also make a small percentage whenever they get a sale and whatnot, and then it goes on, which is similar to the way a CEO of a large corporation works. You know what I mean? So it's almost like it puts the regular guy like me in a position where I can enjoy the benefits of being like an executive or an owner of a giant company.
Right. And, when you gave the example of a pizza place here, I'm thinking, they have to wait for the dough to rise. Here we get to give ourselves a raise anytime we want to. But I totally get what you're saying, because my husband and I previously had a corporation, and it was the happiest day of my life when we dissolved that, because I thought being an entrepreneur meant you were always on. You're the payroll, the tax, the marketing department. If you aren't working, you don't get paid. And so that's why I was another reason resistant to saying yes to this, because I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I don't want a business. I'm craving simplicity. And I realized that yes has given me everything that I have ever desired.
Yeah, but I know some people are still hesitant. Some people are hesitant to like, I don't know, maybe they think like, well, I already have a 9 to 5, because most of us, like you did, I'm sure, we start building this on the side in what we call like stolen moments, maybe in the evening. So yeah, you have to decide to maybe not watch as much Netflix or whatever. But what would you? Well, and then there's people with small children a lot of people with small children get involved in a business like this because you can do it a little bit at a time and whatnot. But there are a lot of people that are nervous about the time commitment and things like that. So what advice would you give to parents who worry about balancing if they were to start or get involved with a company like Juice Plus and balancing business and family? What kind of advice would you have for them?
Do it, because time is going to pass. And I would be bold enough to say that people stop dreaming. They say they want something, and years pass and they're not any closer to those desires. And I think for me, I had an early midlife crisis where I realized like I'm not going to continue settling. And so I think if someone is uncomfortable enough in their familiarity, then they're willing to step out and try something new, and that it will be so, so worth it.
Cool. And let's kind of continue on that, the business aspect of like how we balance it or what it's like to do this business. What do you think is one of the biggest misconceptions that people have about doing this business?
Well, I think that most people like say no, because they don't know. And what I tell people is if someone is saying no, whether it's about the product or the business, they're not saying no to me, they're saying no to themselves, because who would say no to better health, to vitality, to longevity, um, and who would say no to what this business offers? So I feel like the biggest misconception is that people misunderstand what this is. They aren't willing to take a look. They might think it's going to be relationship wrecking when it's actually relationship building. I have the deepest friendships of my adult life through people in this community.
Yeah.
And my husband and I have a better marriage because of it.
Man, I feel the same exact way. I mean, because even if your spouse doesn't actively work the business, like they're not actually really doing the business, I mean, I see it in the pictures when you're at events. I see your husband at the events. I say he's involved, he's around, he's supporting you, he's proud of you. You're earning his respect by being an entrepreneur woman in the same way your son's seeing mom as somebody who can like go out and do this. So I think it's pretty cool. It does deepen those relationships. And now,
amazing.
yeah,
I'm so grateful for his support. He's
yeah,
incredible.
I hope I get to meet him soon. Maybe in a conference if we get a
Yes.
chance. All right, we're going to kind of land the plane. Not everybody has the kind of success you've seen in network marketing. That's one of the criticisms actually of network marketing is that, it's a pretty low percentage of people that go really, really far in this business. I've had a lot of success with my wife, and both of us have had success. You've had success. You're relatively new to it compared to us old timers. But what would you say are some things that are really important that you could speak to for maybe somebody that's new getting into this, or maybe there's some people watching this that have been doing this for a while, either with Juice Plus or with some other companies? What are some tips that you think make the difference to move forward in the business versus kind of not moving forward?
Well, I think something that really helped me was knowing I'm not in it alone. Even the hard parts or where it feels like you're not succeeding, that other people are going through that, they're getting the no's, they feel stalled, like all of that is normal. So I think normalizing what's behind that highlight reel, right? And the challenges and doing this alongside life. Some very, very real difficulties, and life happens, and anything that's worthwhile is going to not come easily. So
Yeah.
I did go fast, and I think that I just expected that that's how it would continue, and then began self-sabotaging and blaming and complaining instead of pointing the finger at myself. And um, I think it's amazing that we can change that at any point when we take accountability and are willing to show up and put in the work.
So that's interesting. So you moved kind of quick in the beginning, but when you say like self-sabotaging, like can we dig in on that a little bit and maybe give us some examples that might help some people?
Yes. So, still showing up for the team calls, going to conference, going to boot camps, but not putting in the intentional work in those conversations, the business building activities. So, yes, I was still there, but it felt hard, and trying to face that disappointment was something that was unfamiliar to me in this business. And so I really had to sort through that. But I say what feels hard is what we're not doing. And if we dig into that activity, that is going to unlock everything.
I like what you said earlier in our conversation about like some days you'll just touch your business. You try to touch your business every day. like even if it's just for 1 hour. And I think that's one of the things I've seen that's really important is keeping momentum going. It's like when you try to push a car. When you first start, it's really hard to get that car going. But once it's going, you can kind of walk with it, and that car is going to keep pushing. You know what I mean? But if you stop, it's just going to roll to a stop. Then you got to push really hard to get going again. And I see a lot of people doing the stop, start, stop, start, stop, start, and then they wonder why they're not getting anywhere, you know? So I think consistency is really, really important. And that's what I've heard in your story a little bit.
I can give you a real life example of that. So last week, my family was at the gym and we were warming up on the treadmill, and my son looked over and he was like, "How are you almost at a mile?" And, you know, he was at whatever, like much lower, but he had stopped and he got onto a different machine and then started again. And I just kept going. It's not like we were doing any different activity. We were both walking, we were both moving, but I kept going. I kept moving. I stayed where I was at and just kept going instead of stopping or jumping around.
There you
So
go. Just
it's
steady.
not like I was doing anything differently.
It's the old tortoise versus the hare. The slow and steady wins the race, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I just want to clarify too, like as you went fast and had success, I mean, it's not like you're putting in 16-hour days to build this business, right?
Sometimes, that's not the norm. Not if you're doing it right, and really raising up leaders, which is what my goal is. I want people to feel equipped that they are capable, and so I've learned some lessons in that regard, and it has helped to shape me to start people in a way that's effective and empowering for them.
Yeah. And we can do it. I mean, yeah, you're right. There are some 16-hour days, but that's one of the cool things. I mean, for me, I like that where I get in the trenches and I can really get going, but then you can kind of relax that next day if you need it. But that is really great. Man, it's been awesome to speak to you. I want to remind, and thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. I want to remind anybody seeing this, if somebody invited you or sent you this video, to reach out to them, let them know what you thought. And I hope this brought some value to you guys, and that hopefully we can have a conversation again as you keep moving forward and building a dynasty in this business.
Thank you, Doug. I appreciate it and look forward to future opportunities.
Awesome. All right. Thanks everybody for coming on. We'll see you.